You know what I mean?
What up, dude? We are back.
What up? Glad to be back, man. It feels like we haven't recorded in forever.
Feels like it's been a minute. We batched a whole bunch, and we took some time off. You've been traveling the world, riding jet skis like Kenny Powers.
Just freaking rocking the mullet, dude. I got it cut a little bit, if you don't notice. Look at that.
That's good, man. You look like a respectable young man now.
Yeah, a little more business, you know?
Knocking a few years off.
The summer's over. Speaking of knocking a few years off, my beard, I noticed on like one of the early shows we did, like I've progressively got way more white over that time frame. I'm talking about my hair, not me as a person, but just like my hair and my beard has gotten very, very white. And I don't know if I don't care, but then I'm like, well, do I look old? Because then, you know what really set it off? We're at Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah, that, and we're at Lake of the Ozarks, and I'm like at a pool bar, and there's a dude over trying to get a drink, and the chick at the bar is like, "Let me see your ID," and he's like, I don't look like I'm over 21? And she goes, "If you looked like him, I'd say you look over 21." And I'm like, whoa, that was very aggressive and unnecessary. I was just come out of nowhere. But
dude, I don't care what they say. Dude, you don't look a day over 50.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it, dog. Appreciate it. It makes me feel like, do I need to touch a gray? Do I need to go that route? Or do I just say, screw it, I'm embracing.
Do you know how young you looked at like the first Empower? You have all those photos of you up on stage. Jackson's like 3 years old at the time.
Yeah, I looked like I was probably like 30. I felt like anyway. And now I look like I'm like 50. So this is great. I don't know what's happening. It's your fault, dude. But it's all right.
What do you got planned for the rest of the year? I mean, I know you said you were kind of conferenced out. Dude. Do you? I'm looking at my schedule and I'm debating a few things. There's one that I know that we're both going to. So the Permian Power Conference, September 29th and 30th.
Right.
I think we're both speaking at that. So super excited about that. It's in Midland. Hyper focused on just power, AI, right. Bitcoin, intersection of all of those. A lot of names that we know. A lot of good friends that are going.
Right.
Excited about that. I think I'm going to do the kind of the double threat of the Texas Capitol event and the North American Blockchain Summit in Dallas in October.
I don't know about the Texas Capitol event. What's that?
It's the day before. They're doing something in conjunction with like the Texas Stock Exchange. It's more of an investor event. They're trying to bring a lot of capital, a lot of awareness to companies that are wanting to kind of go public on the Texas Stock Exchange, is my understanding of it. I could be totally butchering the pitch of it, but it's just the day before the North American Blockchain Summit. So you can kind of do a twofer and knock both out.
Yeah, man, that actually sounds like a useful one. It sounds kind of what a hybrid of what we would want to do with our not Empower conference.
Exactly. That's what I was kind of thinking. We go out there, we scope it out a little bit. You know, we see. Recruit some more people to come, which we're still doing, by the way. We've actually recruited our buddy Nico, who's been on the podcast. He's done a lot of events in the past. I've been the bottleneck, and so he's going to help out and help us put the thing together. So it's still happening next year.
We've both been the bottleneck. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So, well, back to what you asked me. Yes, I'm doing NABs for sure. I think they do a good job. It's a useful conference. You bring a lot of people from all over the country, and it's good. So yeah, planning on doing that. I'll check out that Texas Capitol deal. That sounds pretty good. Other than that though, man, most of what I've got planned is a lot of traveling. Shocker, but my daughter's going to college out in Colorado. We're leaving tomorrow. We're there for about a week, and then I get back and we're here for a week. Then I'm going back to Missouri for like 9 days, and hopefully catching like a Chiefs game and maybe some other stuff. But other than that, man, I'm planning on, we're still trying to figure out, we're going to Florida in November for another trip. And then we got to figure out what we're going to do in December, man. I can't like let a month go by without doing something, you know?
You just mark it. How do you think about your travel? Do you have like a bucket list of like, oh, here's the next places we want to go? Or do
No,
you guys just like
dude, not
throw shit
really.
at the wall and you're just like, Florida, Gators,
More,
crazy people. Let's just go to
more the
Florida.
yeah, more the latter. Though my aunt and uncle live in Florida. Dude, I'm gonna give a recap part of the summer here, because I do feel like there was good things that happened to me this year, and in particular this summer. And we'll start off with, it doesn't sound like a good thing. My grandfather passed away. I was very, very close to him, so it was tough. But prior to that, like he'd been doing well forever, no problems. And I go to Missouri. We decided to go to Missouri just because we were going to go to Lake the Ozarks for the summer. He ended up kind of having a downturn there in June, and things just progressively got worse. But I got to spend a crazy amount of time with him that last like month of his life, and I'm not going to tear up when I tell all this stuff because I'm a big old baby and I usually do, but I've said it enough. I think I'm good with it now. But um, it was really nice because so much of my family, who were all spread out all over the place, except for like my extended family, they're pretty much all in Missouri still. So all my brothers, my sister, my parents, everybody got to come in, and we spent a ton of time together this summer. And like, it led to us being like, man, we need to do more stuff together with kind of the extended family. And so now they're playing a big deal in Florida at my aunt and uncle's place, and my cousin out in Carolina, we're going to go do some stuff with, and my cousin out in California, we're doing stuff with, playing another big Canada trip. Like it was nice because it's like, man, it was just bringing everybody together, which is honestly what my grandpa would have wanted. So, in fact, that was all he ever talked about was his family and all that. So, as much as it sucked, but that was what my next batch of traveling is all pretty much based off of doing stuff with somebody in our family. So I'm pretty happy about it, man. It was like, I'm me, dude. I'm a kind of spiritual dude. Well, not kind of, very much. And I'm just like, man, that what a way for like God to bring everybody in our crew together and like give my grandpa a nice farewell and send off with the whole family, and at the same time kind of rejuvenate and refocus you, because dude, we all get caught up in work and like what we're doing and how we're trying to make money and what we're going to build and all that stuff. And it's like, man, end of the day, none of it matters, bro. Memento mori, dog. None of it matters.
I was waiting for that. No, it's good. It's good to kind of put things in perspective, and getting to see. It's very easy, especially with extended family, to go years without seeing anybody or friends that you haven't seen in a while. So we got to plan a guys trip too.
We do need to do that.
We should have a JP2 trip.
A JP2 trip. Can we talk about JP2?
Yeah, why not?
We're gonna, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about it. Tell you started off, Jake. You deliver it better than me.
We were in Las Vegas for Bitcoin 2025. Obviously, you and I have been boys for a long time, and me and Phil Stanley have been boys a long time. I get to meet, through you guys, Phil Lundgren for the first time. Somehow we all have the same friends, but him and I had never met. We all have lunch, and then we get on a text thread, and we're like, you know what? You're talking about all the deals you're working on. I'm talking about all the deals that are landing on my plate, plus the deals that we're doing in Corley Energy. Phil's talking about his deals. The other Phil's talking about his deals. And we're like, I think we see more deals probably than the industry like combined. Like, what if we join forces as like the Avengers, and each of us kind of has like our own, I don't know, part that we play in this. Just because like without even trying, I think it was, at least from my part, from Empowered and now the podcast, and just kind of the exposure to the oil and gas industry. That's where a lot of them are derived from. We just see groups that need, help raising money, and we see sites that we can build and sites that we can invest in, and deals that we can kind of broker. And I don't know, we've just been in a very fortunate position to see a lot of cool things. And so we decided, hey, let's just do some side stuff and see if it turns into maybe some main stuff. And I think it makes us all smarter. It makes me smarter on the Corley Energy side as well, because we get to see a lot more deals. We know what's happening. It makes us better for the podcast. I think it gives us better context as to what's happening in the market. and we're having fun doing it. So yeah,
Combining
we've been
forces.
combining forces like the last
Yeah, man.
2 months, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, putting together some pretty big deals, and so we hope that we have some more news around that. And I'm super excited. I love hanging out with you guys. I love every single week. It's like drinking from a fire hose because I think we have too much opportunity in front of us. And so I think that this is something that we can take two different ways. We can keep this as like a side hustle and, you know, make some good money doing it, or we can go, you know, make it something that's a little bit more legit, and we, you know, bring on some more people, some minions to kind of help us, you know, tackle all the deal flow that we have. So I think we're just kind of rolling with it, you know.
Hopefully, if we ever start hiring people, you know, they don't watch this episode and be like, "Wait, I'm one of the minions. This sucks."
That should be the job title, is minion.
Minion. More importantly, though, from what you just said, I kind of want to know, like, yeah, like the Avengers. So who's who on this? I want to know who would I be?
I feel like you would be like Doctor Strange.
Oh,
you would be Doctor Strange.
I'm okay with that.
Just the more spiritual element, you know, and I could just see you in a cape and your hair, all of it. I don't know. Just like, you just give off Doctor Strange vibes.
Yeah, man. I'm completely good with that. I'm trying to think of who you'd be. Man, you'd be, maybe you might be like Hawkeye or the Hulk.
Out of all the Avengers,
you're the Hulk.
I get to be Hawkeye. I get to be the guy who gets like 2 minutes of screen time.
Dude, no, he's like really good. What are you talking about? He didn't get caught up in the snap.
He's just good at archery. Like, that's like his.
Yeah, seriously, it's like, why he's just really good with a bow and arrow. That's it. Like, what? He's got special tips on the bow, on the arrows. That's it. I mean, what does this dude actually do? Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to give it some thinking then. Maybe, you know, maybe you're like Star-Lord. Maybe you're Star-Lord.
Ooh,
that's what it is. Yeah,
Star-Lord. Yeah, I like that.
A good
Chris
dude.
Pratt. He's funny.
My kids always have said that I'm Star-Lord, so I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, I'm bestowing a title on you that's been given to me by my kids, but I kind of like the Doctor Strange stuff more. I'm a bit of a weirdo, you know. I'm trying. Who would Phil Stanley be? That's an interesting one. Man, he'd probably be. He'd be like Captain America or something.
I'm like racking my brain about who all the Avengers are.
I know. I haven't watched any of those movies for so long. Yeah, maybe he's like Captain America, just kind of quiet, solid, you know, just that dude. Or the Captain America's friend, the dude with that weird arm, the real powerful arm guy.
Bucky.
I don't know. What's his name?
Bucky.
Yeah. That's it. Maybe that's him. You know, feels kind of that quiet, like stoic dude. But then he has those like nice quips sometimes. Phil Lundgren, who's Captain America's friend that becomes Captain America? The black dude that flies around.
Yeah, he just becomes Captain America.
Yeah, he becomes so that's who he is. But they're not on here to defend themselves, so I should have said things way worse. But
at least you didn't call me like Ant-Man.
No, Ant-Man's awesome, dude. I would have been fine with being Ant-Man. He's hilarious. He's great. Paul Rudd, and he's a Missouri guy, I think. So I would have taken that title too. Any of those.
Well, outside of our personal lives, a lot has been happening in this space. That's what we're going to dive into today. A lot of things that we've kind of forecasted to kind of come to fruition. So
they have.
Humble little brag there for us. Biggest one being, I don't know if you saw the announcement, but TeraWulf, our boys over there, we haven't had Sean on the podcast. What was it, like 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a while. So it might be time. Well, definitely it's time to do it again now.
Well, they're making headlines. They just got a $3.7 billion AI hosting deal with none other than Google.
Boom.
Yeah. So my guess, I don't know too much like secret information. I just know it's public about this. If you remember, they had almost entirely, I think it was mostly nuclear and I think a little bit of hydro power. And I think that just means a lot to groups like this that are kind of trying to make good on their net zero commitments while at the same time moving
Have
forward
reliable
with
power.
Yeah, have reliable power and get as many GPUs online as possible.
Right.
So
Dude.
yeah, it's granting them over 200. What's crazy about this is it's a 10-year agreement granting them 200 megawatts of critical IT load at its Lake Mariner data center in Western New York. The initial contract value, like I said, $3.7 billion, with optional 2 5-year extensions that could bring the total revenues to approximately $8.7 billion. And it doesn't say
Damn.
anything about expanding beyond the 200 megawatts. So 200 megawatts for a potential total contract value, if they were to use the options of the extensions, for $8.7 billion. Now
That's
we're in the
good,
same
right?
territory as the CoreWeave Core Scientific deal, which there's a lot of chatter around that as well. I don't know if you've seen. So obviously they had the hosting deal, which came out to be like $12 billion over like 10 or 12 years. And then they said, hey, why don't we just buy Core Scientific? And so a lot of the investors are up in arms about whether that's actually a good deal, whether it's not a good deal. CoreWeave all just went public. The stock's kind of been up and down. So I think that once again, this is still, we're going to see more of this. We're going to see a lot more of this. This is just like, we're not even out of the first inning. And so I think that this is something that's interesting to think about for miners out there that now have, for one, a way to monetize orders of magnitude larger than before. And it's also a potential exit plan. Because what I see happening here, does Google buy TeraWulf?
Right. Dude,
Right? You have a multi-year deal. You're paying them billions of dollars. What if you get 5 years into this and they're like, you know what? We're just going to buy TeraWulf. You guys have energized rack space for less than 2 cents a kilowatt hour. Let's do it.
Right. It's inevitable, man. It's like, man, we stay right on this like Avengers theme. It's like Thanos said, it's inevitable. And because it is. And we have been saying this for a little while. So back to the, toot our own horn a little bit. This is literally exactly what we've said would happen. It makes a lot of sense. I think we're going to see a bunch more of it. Galaxy did it already. Now TeraWulf. What I want to find out and figure out is who's next, because the TeraWulf stock exploded obviously after this was announced. I think it was up like 53% in one day or something like that. It was pretty dramatic, or over 24 hours, something. But I think that when you look at what the data centers are looking for, like the HPC guys and the big boys, it's power ready to go, reliable power. And in some cases, the source of that power is very important. Like TeraWulf, I think they probably got a little bit of a premium because it is nuclear, and that's going to be a lot more attractive to somebody like a Google. But some of these guys, I've heard different things, are not as concerned about what energy source, i.e., coal, and some other, other energy sources. They're not as worried about it anymore because the need for the power is so great. And because of this race to be like Alex from Bitfarms was talking about, the race to be the one who gets things right, gets to AGI first and all that. It's so important to each one of these. Really, if you boil it down, you're talking like 5, 6 groups that want to be the first guy. And the value that comes from being the first one is so tremendous that I think that they're going to start looking past what the energy source is, because the almighty dollar speaks very loudly, and they want to get a piece of that. But I do think there's some miners that are probably positioned better than others to be the next ones that land those type of contracts or get basically just bought out. Who you want to guess? I think the target that I would want to look at is next. And this is not investment advice. We don't know nothing. You go back and look at our MSTR bet and why we're not the ones to listen to. But, but I think Bitfarms. I think Bitfarms is a potential very attractive group if I'm a large scale data center player. They got tons of power, your reasoning? Man, because they got a lot of contracted power, and I don't know if you guys can hear that noise going on over here. I think it's on my side, so I apologize if you can. Yeah, it's my dog barking. Sorry. But I think they got a lot of power under contract, and they've been positioning themselves for, kind of the AI wave, and so I think they're a potential target. I don't know as much about Iris or
I think
IREN,
it's
just
IREN now, right?
IREN, yeah. But that's another one I hear people, talk about. But Bitfarms is the one to me that I look at. I'm like, I think they've positioned themselves well. They've seen this shift coming, and they've been trying to, get ready for it. So I think the more groups like, TeraWulf that have power capacity and have some capital to build out some level of infrastructure and make this attractive for a large scale AI group to come in, man, it makes total sense. Because like if you look at some of the deals that people are trying to get off the ground, it's a long ways away. And I mean, if your power's not even going to get there for 2, 3, 4 years, like you can go pick off one of these miners or take some of their stuff down and be online within 12 months. So very big difference of trying to find greenfield large scale sites that you can build out to that kind of megawatts, or you can just go pick off some of these smaller dudes that have already been accumulating power assets over the last 34 years. So
in the oil and gas space, there's so much M&A, right? We both, come from the space. You've got people who go and they're buyers, and you got people who are going to get sold, right? And sometimes people hold out for a long time. They build a really long company, like a Hess, recently just got bought by Chevron. Pioneer recently just got bought by ExxonMobil. We constantly see new waves of M&A that are kind of happening. And so it makes me kind of think, looking at it through that lens, groups like the largest ones, like, right? So Mara, RIOT, are they buyers? Are they consolidators? Or are they targets themselves from the larger groups? Because as big as they are, let's contextualize how much CapEx is being spent or going to be spent this year and the following years. OpenAI said they're planning on spending trillions in infrastructure, trillions, right?
That's
so their market
crazy,
cap
man.
now is astronomical. It's like almost like 400 million or 400 billion dollars. It's going to keep growing they'll be $1 trillion company soon as they keep raising more and more money. But you look at like the largest, Mag 7 tech companies, each of them now is like 10xing their infrastructure investments to like, I think Meta alone is spending like $400 billion in AI infrastructure this year, which is 10x what they did last year. Right. And also look at, I'm sure you've seen a lot of stuff in the news about this, but each of these groups, Meta in particular, has made headlines because they made $1 billion offers to AI researchers, right? $1 billion. The only way to ever make $1 billion prior to this was you start a company, you grow it to billions of dollars, and you sell and you make $1 billion, or you become CEO of a company 40 years ago, it goes public, you grow, you become a billionaire. Now, there's a third option. Now, if you're an AI researcher who has
what is an AI researcher?
It's essentially like you are like one of the leading experts on Gen AI, and you've worked at probably OpenAI or one of these other groups. And so Meta has been trying to poach.
Offered like $1 billion for a job.
$1 billion, like guarenteed.
Dude.
Yes.
Why would you not do that?
Sign on bonus. One guy turned it down. One guy turned it down. I think there's been a few of them who turned it down. And then on top of that, you get like cash compensation, stock options and stuff. But like Meta is going to extreme lengths to build their own Avengers, to kind of keep on the theme of they want to poach the smartest people. So now the other companies are now paying massive retention bonuses, right? But you also have to understand that a lot of these people, I don't think Sam Altman's this way, because I think he's more about money than people think he is.
Oh, dude, I think he totally is.
Especially looking at like his car collection. I see it. The guy likes material things. But a lot of these AI researchers just don't care about that. But the whole point of this and the whole reason we're diving into this is just to put into context what is at stake, right? These companies will spend whatever it takes to be able to win this race. right?
That's
The AI
going back
race
to what
is
Alex
in.
was saying.
It's not just to beat their competitors, but like collectively also to beat China. Because I don't think anybody here wants to be using Chinese AI with everything that we know about kind of like covert operations,
right?
And just winning overall this war. It's crazy.
Have you listened to the Darius?
Was that
the Darius CEO guy? He had I can't remember the dude's name. We'll have to. I'll send it to you. Maybe we can post it like a comment in the show notes or something too. But it was. I haven't finished it. It's like 2.5 hours long. I can't remember the dude's name, but he's talking about the AI race and like fundamentally what it's going to do, what jobs, all that. And I know there's so many different shows that you can listen to where they talk about that. This was the best one I've heard, and it was kind of terrifying to listen to because of the dystopian type world that like he's like this will happen. Now it doesn't mean that we won't go into a utopia also later on, but there's going to be really, and it's not all the same type of things he's talking about. Like, like AI's we're basically gonna have Terminator like show up, Arnold Schwarzenegger's gonna kill everybody, but it was very like a very scary future for what we're just used to, you know what I mean? But he was talking about the race to get there because of the group that wins, and the group can be a country. It could be, the US, China, whoever, but thinking about you're literally going to have these different AIs, even if China doesn't win first, or if China did win first and we're trying to catch up, the most powerful, knowledgeable beings, yes, they're robots or AI, whatever, competing with each other for global dominance. And it's like, dude, it sounds like a freaking sci-fi movie. It's crazy, but it's true. It's like, wow, yeah, you're right. It's not like all these other ones will stop, but you're going to have countries and companies that are literally each vying to be the most powerful, knowledgeable, useful thing in the world. And you got China behind some, you got the US behind some, and whoever else behind some. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this stuff plays out. And we're not very far away. That's like, we're talking 5-10 years from now. Like,
yeah, dude, the train has already left the station, and like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I don't think you can put it back in Pandora's box.
No.
From a power generation, I don't have any stats in front of me, but from a power generation perspective, I was listening to a podcast the other day about really the AI race and how China is bringing on more generation, like orders of magnitude more generation than we are. Like there was like one hydro facility that was like, it was something astonishing. I want to say it was like 40 or 50 gigawatts worth of power in a single gigantic hydro facility. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on those numbers, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. It was like hard to wrap your head around just how big it is. And so same thing with, their manufacturing capabilities, it's
scary.
It's wild. It's wild. Yeah. It's wild. But our entire economy is going to be built in the same way that it's built off the internet. It's going to be built around AI. Right? And there's a lot of great things that are going to come from that. And there's a lot of scary things that are going to come from that.
Oh yeah.
I guess what
gives
there's going
to be some incredible things to come, but a lot
if you
of
think
really
back
bad
to
stuff too.
Before the tractor was invented, 95% of us were farmers. Tractor came out, everybody found new things to work on. I think it's going to be the same thing, but more extreme. And the question is, if AI is doing everything, how do people find purpose? And what role does capitalism play in the AI race? Because I think we're also
need to listen to this, because he talks about capitalism and how that all plays out. Like, it's very, very interesting. It's very good. I wish I could remember the dude's name. I'll send it to you though. We should put a
I'm gonna
link
check that
to
out.
it, like in the show notes.
Yeah, it's like, but like, do you think about like the wealth divide? It's already extremely. It just continues to grow, and it's only going to get worse. And yeah, I mean, in part that's just kind of capitalism, but there's a lot of downsides that kind of come with that.
There is, and dude,
well.
he talked about that too, because of the difference in the classes, right? You're going to have a very small upper class. You won't have any middle class.
Yeah, middle class is going to, I think, disappear if it hasn't already disappeared
Right. And it's going to be there's going to be huge difference between the classes. And you might not even see the upper class a whole lot. You know what I mean? It's going to be very, very different than what we're used to. I was telling Sarah this, man. I think our generation, and I know I look like I'm 50, but I'm including you in that. We've seen, and you barely actually, but we probably will see the biggest dramatic shift in lifestyle of any generation that we can really think of. I think the greatest generation, they saw a lot of changes, right? A lot of them went from, depression times to, late 2000s or 2020, whatever. That's about the extent of their lifetimes, right? But ours is gonna be from we didn't have cell phones. I didn't have cell phones. We didn't have cell phones when I was a kid. It wasn't even no one did. Some people had car phones. They were terrible. Even when I got my first cell phone, I remember I'm, like, in college, and I'm having to I'm making calls and hanging them up before I get past the first minute, and then I call back so that I'm not having to pay extra for my phone bill. But now it's like, man, we're going to this AI world, which that should impress you that I can even set this camera equipment up, Jake, because I was born, we didn't have
I
cell
mean,
phones.
it takes you long enough,
So
but eventually you get it.
eventually we get it. It might not be recording right now. We might not even know. We'll find out when Jake's gonna edit it. But like from what I was born to what it's gonna be in just a very short period of time, dude, it's wild. It's wild what things are gonna be like. We have no and I don't know the psychology of how people are how that's gonna shake out and how people are gonna manifest, like the psychological and spiritual impacts of, you got all this time on your hands now. What are you gonna do with it? Some people are gonna do very, very good things. I unfortunately think the vast majority of people are gonna do some very, very bad, detrimental, lazy things. And it's gonna be
I
super
think you'll see
interesting to
both.
see
I
what
think in some
happens,
ways it could
man.
be a
Yeah, you
renaissance,
see
and other
both.
ways you have people who fall into addiction and alcoholism and
Right.
laziness and other things.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
So
be in the former. I'm gonna be
I
I'm gonna
think
be living my
AI's
life, dude.
I think the AI applied to your life, it's that old saying, when somebody doesn't have money, it just or whenever you get money, it just
Mhm.
amplifies who you already are. I think when you get AI, it's just going to amplify whoever you are. I think if you're an
Yeah, that's good,
overachiever, I
man.
think you're going to dial it up to 11. I think if you're lazy as
Mhm.
shit, I think you're probably going to dial that up to 11 as well.
Right.
So I think it's just a
Yeah.
force multiplier.
Right. Yeah, you got
But
time to figure out to show who you are, right? And figure out who you are. I'm in a way I can't wait because I'm like, this will be interesting because I also think you'll have the option at that point, in a way to, well, like you said, live who you really are and get. I know what I'll do, and I'm gonna disappear into the woods somewhere, and it's gonna be great. I'm I'm very excited about it. I'll be on my jet ski and at a lake in the mountains. It'd be wonderful, dude. But it's just, yeah, I mean, like, there's just a lot of change coming. And to circle back to who's gonna benefit from this next one, this play on the AI and kinda who's got the power deal, like, I think some of these companies have seen this and they've positioned themselves very well. TeraWulf, obviously, and I don't know, I got a feeling about Bitfarms, man, and it's literally based off nothing other than I just know they've got a lot of power under in their portfolio. That's it.
yep. Yeah, something interesting that I've kind of been paying attention to, obviously, with the project that we're trying to get off the ground. We're just kind of waiting to get this deal closed. But you're paying attention to everything that's happening on kind of the oil and gas side. Who's doing what? Who's not doing anything? We saw that EQT over the last couple of months has done like 12 offtake agreements with like companies like Duke Energy and a bunch of other
Mhm.
companies who want to use that purely for data center power up in the Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia area. We've seen the Diamondback probably about a year ago now. So they're open for business to talk with data centers. Don't know if they've actually done anything or not. They had a press release there. Energy Transfer's doing a JV with a group. I think it's for up to like 1 or 1.5 gigawatts. with the power essentially groups buying the gas, building power gen, and then selling that to a data center. And so obviously we have what we're doing as well. So I'm trying to pay attention to everything that's happening in the space. Stole this one from Mario Gutierrez's newsletter. So go check that out. I think he's got like 5 newsletters now.
Dude,
But I
he's
read
got
all
so
of
many
them. He's pumping
You know
them
what?
out. He's pumping
I
them
think
out.
Mario
So go
would probably
subscribe.
Mario could be an Avenger. He could be one of the Avengers.
Mario could be an Avenger.
He you know what? He'd actually maybe be Hawkeye. No offense, Mario. I love Hawkeye. Jake's the one who doesn't like Hawkeye. Because he's kind of like, he shows in, he shows out. Like he's in and out a lot, but he's still one of them. He's like very much one of them. But he's like, I got to go do my own solo deal sometimes, and he just kind of disappears. So I think it's Mario. Mario, you're Hawkeye.
Mario Hawkeye.
Yep. All right. Sorry.
So Coterra, Houston-based E&P, been around a long time. It was a merger between 2 pretty prolific E&Ps in the past to kind of join forces and create Coterra. And so they entered into a 7-year agreement to sell 500 million cubic feet a day of natural gas to the CPV Basin Ranch Energy Center, which is 1.3 gigawatt combined cycle gas-fired power plant in Ward County, Texas, starting in 2028. The interesting thing about this is it gives them the right to purchase 250 megawatts of power a day.
That's interesting.
And so
what's their
it's really the first first power netback deal in the Permian Basin. But I'm trying to understand what is the play here for them. So they have the option to buy the power.
Yeah.
If it's daily, I don't think it's like is it a demand response play? Is it a retail power play? I mean, I don't think I see any mention of selling this to AI data centers. I see purely just the fact that they have an option on power.
I wonder what that option is at. Like, is it a price per kilowatt hour number that they get a lock in or option it at? Or if it's just kind of a, open-ended market price-based deal. I'd like to know the details of that because there's so many people trying to do gas deals right now. And I'm just curious to see, like, the ones that actually get executed, what are the details of that contract? You know what I mean?
It says it's indexed to ERCOT West pricing.
Mm-hmm. And say that again, indexed to ERCOT West pricing.
ERCOT West pricing.
That's at the option power?
Mm-hmm.
That's the price they're going to? Okay. But I'm curious to know what other terms are in there for that, because that gas sales is not kicking off till 2028. I wonder if that's because of a turbine acquisition issue, because like that too, that's another leg on these gas deals that has to get answered before people can really, execute anything on it or start executing operationally. The turbine issue is very, very real. It's hard to get them. And the ones that are available, you're bidding with basically everybody else. So it makes it tough to get a gas contract or a gas deal done completely because there's so many moving parts that go into it. But I also think it's why, you kind of need capital if you're trying to put one of these gas deals together, because locking up a turbine, man, you got to put some cash down up front, and it's not cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's usually, let's just call it 20% down payment, right? So if you're buying, let's just call it $1 million a megawatt without emissions controls. So yeah, if you want to buy 100 megawatts, 100 million, 20 million down.
Mm-hmm. Ain't cheap.
Ain't cheap, baby. Ain't cheap.
Yeah. So
it's interesting. I think we're going to see a lot more of this. I think that, I mean, just with our deal and some of the other conversations I'm having with kind of different operators, I think that more and more people are kind of coming around to it. I think the advantage that we have in that conversation to kind of toot our own horn is that we're industry insiders. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these groups have talked to AI data centers that want access to power. So they reach out to all the oil and gas companies. Oil and gas companies are extremely skeptical. These guys from Silicon Valley come down, they want to talk to them. But guess what? The data centers, they don't want to build power plants, right? And most of the E&Ps don't want to build power plants either. And so they leave and nothing ever gets done. But, I think that's piqued their interest, and we come along.
Mhm.
We understand exactly what their needs are, and we can put together a better deal. So,
And
toot
we
my
can
own
get
horn there for a little
capital.
bit, and
Right. You can get
we can get
capital
capital.
for Corley Energy, so that's how you're gonna get that turbine, lock it up. Yeah, I mean, that's I think you're right. I think that's the issue is that nobody wants to be the one putting a power plant together and, number 1, paying the money for it. Number 2, it's outside of the wheelhouse of the oil and gas operator, and it's definitely outside of the wheelhouse of, Meta or Google. Now they will pay people to do it, but that's like almost starting a whole different deal, you know what I mean? It's like, if I wanna go buy a gas deal, okay, cool, you got a gas contract, but now you want me to go find a turbine, you want me to go find that's kind of the problem I think a lot of groups that are trying to put these deals together are running into, is that, the gas contract's good, they're interested in that power at that price and all that, but who's filling in this middle gap where you gotta secure the turbine, take on the responsibility, who's building it, who's running it, who's putting up the deposits, who's basically managing this whole process, and it's like, man, both groups are kinda like, I want you to do it," and I think that causes some of these deals that you hear about I just put quotes around the deal, some of these deals you hear about, that's probably part of the problem is like, cool, great idea. How do we execute on it? Because we're not taking responsibility for that part. You're not taking responsibility for that part. So we got to find somebody else in the middle. And neither one of us are really wanting to be the ones dealing with that. And so big guys are looking for stuff that's already put together. You got the gas, you got the turbine, you've got all your crap kind of laid out in place, ready to go for me to come say, all right, cool, you check this box, this box, this box, fiber, long haul fiber's there, everything's cool. All right, cool, let's do it. But getting past that, securing a turbine, man, I think it's a tough pill for some of these people that are trying to put stuff together. Tough pill for them to swallow, and because they want an offtake agreement before they do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to put up. But the reality is too, I think I understand that risk aversion, but I also look at it like, man, you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. If you're going to do it, you got to do it because that's how you're going to get the offtake agreement.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's
you
just
need
part
scale
of it.
to pull this off, and with
Mhm.
scale comes a lot of capital, right?
Right.
The right kind of configuration, and then to further complicate things, I think honestly the biggest challenge is really you're kind of at the mercy of regulations from emissions
Mhm.
perspective, whether it be CO2, whether it be NOx. And so, yeah. So depending on where you're at geographically, that is single-handedly, I think, been our biggest challenge. It's not a capital
Right.
thing. It's not a configuration thing. It's not a scale thing, at least not in the deals that we're looking at now.
Mhm.
It's being compliant, right? And
Right.
not doing something that's going to come back to bite you in the ass
Yeah.
later. But yeah, there's a lot of boxes that kind of have to be checked off simultaneously. So yeah, nobody should do it. It's complicated. Just call me.
Right, right.
Call me.
Just call Corley Energy, man. Just
Just
have
call
them
me.
do it.
We'll help you
But
out.
what you're saying is true though about the permitting and stuff. Like think about it from this perspective. And I've had this talk with other groups that were, coming to me telling me they want to do a deal. I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do about the turbine? Well, we'll get a turbine here. It's not gonna be a problem. Yada yada yada. Well, number one, it's a long wait time unless you got capital sitting in your pocket ready to go when you get a call that, hey, guess what? This turbine deal that somebody had thought they had fell through. We got 150 megawatts worth of turbines available. It's going to be 30 million bucks to secure them. Are you going to be able to do that? And then you got a shorter period of time or a short period of time where it's got to get delivered to your site. Okay, well, I've got to get all my stuff ready, but I don't even have an offtake right now. You also got to go get that turbine permitted. Well, if I'm looking for an offtake, they're going to say, "Well, you want me to buy this from you, but then wait for to see if the air permit gets secured when you don't even have the turbine that you need to get permitted secured." So it's like, man,
It's
there's so many
it's a
things that go into
Sudoku
that.
catch 22. You kind of
Right,
need this to do this, but you need this to do this.
right.
if you want to get the capital for the turbine, well, you need an offtake agreement. And it's like, well, I can't go sell an offtake agreement because I don't have the turbine.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
do I even have a GPA in place? Like, there's so much. It's so complicated.
Right.
Nobody should do it.
No, they shouldn't do
Just
it,
call
man.
me. Just call me.
Just call Jake. Just do that.
Just call me.
Make it
I think we
life
figured
easy.
it out.
Call
I
Jake.
think we figured it out at this point. That's all we've been thinking about.
But it is true. I mean, all that's true. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm excited about? This is the first announcement that I've seen. I'm excited about a lot of things. The first announcement I've been seeing, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm really excited about this. Block just announced their new proto miner.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. I did.
For one, it looks like the Apple computer of miners.
Everybody has said that to me. He said
it
the
looks
same
gorgeous.
thing, like, yeah.
It looks gorgeous. So if you're not familiar with Block used to be square. I love the fact, I'm going to make a car analogy. I think you'll appreciate this. So most vehicles are made for a 10-year life, right? They're only made to survive like 10 years, and then you just got to start replacing just about everything on the car. And there's one exception, one notable exception to this, is Toyota made the Land Cruiser based on a 20-year life.
Oh, wow,
right?
Okay.
And so if you look at the values of Land Cruisers over time, they lasted significantly. They built this whole cult following because they would just last forever, right? And so you would find Land Cruisers that have like 200, 300,000 miles on them, and they're still chugging along. And there's just like not a lot of maintenance you got to do with them. So I think through that, they have built these new proto miners, instead of it being a traditional, like 4-year life, these are built to a 10-year life. And so what they did was they rethought, what does a miner look like? What do you actually, if you're upgrading it, what are you actually upgrading? You're upgrading the hash boards. You don't need to upgrade the power units or the cooling systems or anything else. And so they made it modular to where you slide these hash boards out. If you want to upgrade it, you slide them more in. And so you can have it run one at a time. You could fill the whole rack up. And I think it's like, I think it's fully stacked up with like their top of the line hash boards, I think it's like somewhere near like 900 terahash a second at like 14.1 joules.
14.1 joules. Yeah. Sick. Wait, so I didn't see that though. 900 terahash at 14.
I think it's like, maybe it's 8. It's either high 8s or low 9s is what I remember.
On an air cooled?
I think it's air cooled.
Bro, I need to go check that out more. I just love the idea of,
I could be wrong.
Because I'm dealing with some of this right now on our site with the machines being down, and I'm not going to say who's giving us the biggest problem until I'm done talking with them and to see how they handle stuff. But I will be very vocal if they continue to give me problems. Just saying, bro.
I watched the whole launch event about this that Bitcoin Magazine had kind of streamed. And so I guess they started off with kind of just going back to first principles, listening to customers. Repairs and downtime is like the number one thing, and so they try to make it super, super easy to repair, so we don't have to take the whole thing out.
That's literally what I was going to say. My favorite part is the ability to repair them on the rack. Right? Now we got to see it. We got to see it in action. I would love to get my hands on one. But being able to replace hash boards, whatever it may be, on the rack, and a lot of it said something about the average repair time will be under 90 seconds on these machines.
Crazy.
It's phenomenal. I mean, that is, if that turns out to be true, to me, that is a complete game changer of how everybody's going to be expected to manufacture their machines going forward. I also did not see the price. I imagine these are probably very expensive. But when you,
I would expect it to trade at a premium. I have no clue. I've asked around. Nobody knows. I don't even know if they've released any sort of pricing. But if you're getting, instead of, let's imagine
a
you
4-year
keep
life
these
or
things.
A 10-year life.
Yeah, and you're saving 20% whenever you do upgrade. It just seems to make more sense. And then on top of that, they were like, hey, everybody had problems with, kind of fleet management software, yada, yada, yada. So we built this. Oh, by the way, it's free. And you hear the crowd like clapping. They're like, oh, by the way, it's also open source. Right? And you hear everybody like start clapping again. So like they're getting miners like into this ecosystem. And I think it's super smart because now it really puts pressure on It raises the bar. It raises the
Yeah.
standard for Bitmain. It raises the standard for what's miner. Obviously we've talked to RIOT a few times, been very excited about what they're doing. It's going to raise the bar for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so as long as
Yeah.
this is exactly as advertised,
Right.
then this is a complete game changer, because I think it's going to completely change uptime, and I think it's going to completely change the economics over longer periods of time,
Right.
especially considering how much CapEx miners
Well,
are.
yeah, it saves CapEx long term for miners, and that honestly is probably one of the bigger problems for their sustainability over a long period of time. Is just major upgrades are very, very expensive, and you go through these bear cycles sometimes, and it's like, man, it can be terrible if you mismanage when you go and recapitalize your machine fleet. So yeah, it's a big deal, and you know I tend to try to look at the credibility of the people involved on stuff. Um,
It's Jack Dorsey.
yeah, it's pretty legit, so
He's done a few
it's
things.
right. He's done some good stuff. So, I'm very optimistic about it. I also, I saw some tweets by Barber about it. He sounds very, very high on him. He thought from a product design and like addressing the expectations and listening to your potential customers' complaints about the current fleets and what's wrong with miners now and what you could do better, or they would like to see better. It sounds like the vast majority of people in the know feel like Block did a great job of listening to their constituents or their client base. And so that's just I'm excited to see how this plays out, and it could be, it could be a serious game changer for the whole ASIC manufacturing world going forward. So I hope it pans out. I hope it is as advertised, and I hope they can keep a reasonable price on these so I can get my hands on 'em. Hey, and if you guys want us to do a little test run on some of these, we could do that, and we'll go, share the news. I would gladly do it. We got some slots. So
Somebody
just
sent us one.
saying. Yeah. I think Moneyball Steve, I think, is a guy over there. I met him in Vegas, and we talked about, what they were doing a little bit, but they seem like great guys, man, very knowledgeable, and we liked them a lot. So yeah, I'm anxious to see these things in action.
Anything else happened this week that you're
Mm,
noteworthy, excited
on the
about?
On the news front, or on just like my life and I don't know, the world we live in. Like, you gotta get, how long you got, man? I got a lot of stuff on my mind. My daughter's going off to college tomorrow, man. I'm like, it's kind of sad, but kind of happy for her too, and excited for what's gonna, you grow so much, man. Your first like 2-3 years in college, you're like, "Ah, dude, she frankly, man, my daughter has no idea what she's about to step into." So
None of us had a clue.
no. So, and it's kind of funny being in this position now. Like, I started off the show talking about how old I look, but now I'm like thinking about how I was when I was that age. And yeah, it's just funny to see a lot of the same things in yourself in someone else, and remembering how you handled them and how you looked at things, and trying to keep that perspective on your conversations with them, with her in this situation. And yeah, man, it's just like, yeah, there's a lot going on, and she's gonna go this gonna be like drinking from a fire hydrant, and she's just gonna, I just pray that she's gonna be protected, safe, and have wisdom and discernment about like what direction she wants to take her life. So, you know, it's exciting times in the Ballard house, man.
Always something happening in your house.
I know, dude. Kind of ready for it to slow down. I need to move to Idaho.
Yeah, dude, come on out
This,
anytime.
dude, the weather here sucks right now too. That's another thing that's causing us problems on our operations. It's like yesterday, I took Jackson he had golf in the morning, and I take him to his soccer workout. I'm like, this is miserably hot out. It was 84 degrees. 84 degrees. The feels like was 103. How's that? I don't even know how that's possible. Like, how is that? May be worse than it being actually 103. You know what I mean?
It was 65 this morning for my run. Nice, windy, cool breeze.
Yeah.
No humidity whatsoever.
I'm so ready to Colorado this week, dude. So ready. And it's like going to be like 90.
Dude, just keep on driving and come see me. Once you made it to Colorado, dude, you're only like 8 hours away from me.
That's it?
Yeah.
Man, maybe we should do that. We are doing like a four-wheel drive. I don't know, some heavy duty mountain four-wheeling. So I'm excited about that.
Come out. We'll go to McCall. We'll rent those gigantic ATVs with like the 200 horsepower motors.
Yeah.
And then we'll go up in the mountains.
Right up my alley.
I'm just saying.
Let's do it, dog. I need to get up there. I've never been to Idaho. Maybe that's on my I'll put that on my bucket list now. Yeah, that big old fancy house. Corley headquarters.
Stay in the pool house.
Stay in the pool house. All right, I'm fine with that, man. I told you our Canada trip. We didn't have we were outhousing and bathing in the lake.
Dude, y'all love trap houses.
Oh, dude, we love trap house. Good Canadian trap house right on the reservation. They can't beat it, dude.
All right, let's wrap it. People don't want to hear us ramble. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Later.